Welcome everybody to Forza Horizon 4, and today we're taking a look at the 2020 Ford Mustang Shelby GT500. Now this is unveiled at the 2019 North American International Auto Show in Detroit, and it's the first GT500 we've had in more than half a decade, and it also is the third car from 2020 that we've had on this game after the Koenigsegg Jesko and the Chevrolet Corvette. And it's based on the standard 6th generation Mustang. And the headline news with this car is its incredible engine. It's a 5.4 litre aluminium alloy cross-plane crank V8 engine with a 2.65 litre Roots type supercharger, producing 760 horsepower and 625 pounds-feet of torque, making this the most powerful stock Mustang ever. And even then you can get a SE version, the Signature Edition version, which gives you 40 extra horsepower over this. So an incredible achievement really, even more so when you consider that the basic engine of this is the Ford modular engine, which, believe it or not, has been around since 1990. So more than 30-year-old basic engine, now churning out nearly 800 horsepower is an incredible feat, to be honest. And it's also a really great handling car as well, because it's got a big rear spoiler, it's got front splitter, it's not the lightest of Mustangs at 4,171 pounds, but it is lighter than the likes of a Dodge Challenger or a Dodge Demon. And it's just a perfect car in a lot of ways, to be honest. It looks great, it's got all of the handling characteristics that you want out of a modern muscle car. As you can see, it's got Brembo brakes front and rear, which is necessary when you got all of that weight and all of that horsepower going alongside it. And pretty decent interior as well. Looks comfy enough. It's got a double clutch gearbox, so no actual manual, but it is obviously a necessity when you're dealing with nearly 800 horsepower and you want to be as quick as possible. So you need that double clutch gearbox, which is going to be quicker in terms of speed than any manual. And despite being all of that power and all of the speed and acceleration, it's got all of the practicality of a normal Mustang. It's still got rear seats, still got a boot, even though it's not got the widest of entrances to the boot area there. But so does the Challenger and the Camaro have the same kind of issues as that. But in comparison to other cars, this is better handling than the Demon and the SRT Hellcat. It's not got quite as much torque as the Hellcat or the Camaro ZL1. It's got 25 pounds-feet of torque less than both of those, but it's got 110 horsepower more than the Camaro, and it's got 53 horsepower more than the Hellcat. Obviously it's got less than the Demon, but the Demon is pretty much just a drag car in a road car suit. As far as I'm concerned, it's not really a serious performance vehicle. But the one car that you can compare against this is the Camaro ZL1, because it is pretty much as good as this in terms of handling and braking. I think it, on the whole, looks better than the Mustang, the Camaro, to be honest. But it's not as practical in terms of rear quarter legroom or whatever like that. So it's not quite as practical in that regard. But I do think the Camaro looks better. It's definitely handles and brakes as well. But it does have 110 horsepower less, like I said. But I think the Camaro handles its horsepower a little bit better than this. But regardless, let's get out onto the open road and just see how good this car is. So even though I think the Camaro is a better handling vehicle than this, it certainly handles its power better. Quite frankly, this is a massive achievement on the part of Ford to get nearly 800 horsepower out of a car that is rear-wheel drive and has plenty of torque, and is still a road car at the end of the day. So even though it's not quite as perfect in terms of balance as the Camaro, it's definitely a more admirable achievement than the Camaro. And it is at the end of the day one of my favourite muscle cars, modern muscle cars that we have on this game. But regardless, let's let you listen to the engine for a little bit, and then we'll talk about it some more. Now it would be interesting to see what the GT350 is like, which is basically the non-supercharged version of this, because yeah, it's got less power at 526 horsepower, but it is also a little bit more track focused than this, so it would be interesting to see what that can do, because yeah, I do like my more track focused muscle cars as well at times. The likes of the Z01 1LE from Chevrolet is also a really good car, as well as obviously the Chevrolet Corvette ZR1, which was the last of the front engine ZR1s. So yeah, it would be interesting to see what the GT350 is like. But yeah, this is still a cracking car. It's got so much power, so much torque, but it also sounds great, looks great, and yeah, even though it's not the best handling muscle car out there, it's definitely a cracking handling car nonetheless, especially in the context of how much power and torque it's got going for it. And yeah, even more so when you consider how much it weighs. Yes, it weighs less than a Challenger and a Demon, but it's, you know, nearly 300 pounds more than a Camaro, which is a hefty amount, and it certainly weighs more than a standard Mustang GT. But yeah, it's still an incredible achievement that Ford has managed to screw out so much power out of this, and at the same time make it handle and brake and be manageable on a day-to-day basis. Even more so when you consider this car can do 0 to 60 in 3.3 seconds, 0 to 100 in 6.714 seconds, and going to a reported top speed of 204 miles an hour, though I have got it a little bit quicker than that on here. But yeah, that is a cracking speed, and yeah, really good acceleration. Certainly faster than the Camaro to 60 and to 100. But I imagine that Camaro would be better around the track maybe. Like I said, for a big context in terms of what this car can do in terms of track performance would be to see what the GT350 is like. Yeah, it's not the exact same version of this, but it is the same basic chassis, same, you know, based on the same generation of Mustang, and yeah, would be interesting to see what this car could do with, granted, less power, but also more handling capabilities, because I imagine it would tear a new one into the likes of the Camaros and the Challengers, even more so than this does in terms of the Challenger and the Demon. But yeah, let's take it on this motorway here and just show you what the top speed is like with this car, and just how quickly it can get up to that. But it is insane now that this Mustangs now have this level of power. It was only 7 years ago, so ago, that the GT500 had, you know, just under 100 horsepower less than this. So yeah, that is incredible. And it is only coincidence that I reviewed that older version of the GT500 last week. Had no idea this was coming out. I don't really pay attention to any leaks or hints about what future cars are coming in this game. But yeah, there's 204. As you can see, you can get it a little bit more than that. Obviously, you can upgrade it if you so wish. So yeah, you can get this car by doing a free race championship, which is easy enough. And it's also quite fun as well, because you are in also modern muscle cars like this. And yeah, this is all yours. And yeah, I'm really glad this is in the game. It's easily my favourite vehicle from 2020 that we've had recently introduced into this game, to go alongside, like I said earlier, the Koenigsegg Jesko and the Chevrolet Corvette. Yeah, I'm more into these kind of cars than, you know, mid-engine rear-wheel drive cars or hypercars. So yeah, it's well worth getting this, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I do, because I absolutely adore this, even if it's not quite as good in certain areas as maybe a Camaro is. Nonetheless, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.